I'm coming!
There are some who call me Tim.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Shall we play a game?
Can you dig it?
Hey everybody, Tim Norris here. You know me as the Gray Elephant, and today we're playing White Castle over on Board Game Arena. I've got the game already set up here, and we're just going to jump right in. Right now we're going to select our starting cards. We're going to confirm them. And this is a very complicated game, in my opinion. Packs a lot of punch for such a small game. I'm going to try to just explain what I'm doing as we're playing because otherwise it's too much to explain in my opinion. Right now I'm just confirming my starting resources. So what I'm going to do, there's a course of 3 rounds. Each round I'm going to choose 3 dice. I am not very good at this game, everybody, so don't expect me to play very well. I think so over here I place warriors. This is my castle where I'll place courtesans. Over here I'll place gardeners. They're all right here on my player board. As I place them, you'll see exactly how the actions transfold. I think it's going to be much easier to teach you as I am playing. So, all right, what I'm going to do first off bat, I do have 4 rice. So I think I'm going to try to use that rice to place one of my gardeners. So I need to find a space where I could take a gardener action. A gardener action is that bridge looking thing right here that's on your player board. So what I'm going to do is take this 6 from right here, place it on my own personal board. That's going to give me a rice, and then it's going to let me take that gardener action. So first I get my rice, and now I get to perform a gardener action. So I have 5 pieces of rice. I have 3 money as well. So if I wanted to, I'm going to place right here in this spot. And then what that tells me, because I placed right here, is that it's going to let me take this action which says spend 3 money to take another gardener action. I will do that. I have 1 rice left. So now I'm going to place, let's go here. And that's going to give me 2 resources of my choice. So we're going to gain 2 resources. And I think I am going to grab... I think I'll grab 2 pearls right here. Okay, and then confirm. And now the computer's going to take his turn, and he flips a card and he just does a bunch of stuff. I really don't follow the computer very well in this or know how exactly he works, but I know there's a lot of times I do have to move his characters around, and in this case I do. I'm going to put his gardener up here at the very top. Any dice that are left over on one of these 3 bridges, and if you have gardeners there, you get to take those actions again between rounds, not the last round, but between rounds. So I want to make sure I don't use up all these blacks is what I'm getting at. So, all right. So with that in mind, let's see. I would like to try to take a warrior action to be able to place one of my warriors that could possibly place a courtesan, but I need an iron as well. I don't have enough food to do what I wanted to do down there. So let's do this. Let's just grab this black one right here. We're going to I'm going to kind of probably expedite through this game more so than try to play it efficiently. Because I typically don't win at this anyways. I've only won a couple of times. This is going to give me 2 pearls because you get the action for every one of these spots matching the color dice. So that gave me 2 pearls. Confirm. I need pearls to be able to move my courtesans through the castle. And then it's also going to give me a favor token and a victory point. And if you just push resolve all, it does it for you. So, all right. So I'm going to confirm that. Now he's going to go. And then for my last action, I really would like to take a warrior action. Even though it's not super duper duper important, I don't think. In fact, I don't think I'm going to really probably worry about it too much now to think about it. Unless I could get an iron and do a warrior action. I think what I'm going to do instead is take this 5. I'm going to place it right here. That's going to give me 1 passage of time and 2 iron. I'll just set myself up for the next round to be able to do some stuff. That's going to move me along this track. Whoever's furthest along on that track gets priority for the next round. So right now the computer's going to go first the next round. So that was my 3rd die. I'm playing kind of faster than what I normally would because I think this is a very thinky game, and it can bog it down and make this video way too long if I try to explain too much too soon. But the goal is to because I have all of my gardeners, there's a die still here, and I have my gardeners here. I get to take both these actions, so we're going to gain. First off, it says that I don't have enough food to be able to do another gardener action, but I get to gain 2 resources of my choice. Well, we're going to take that other gardener action. So we're going to gain 2 food, and then we're going to spend 3 of our money for this one to actually perform a gardener action. And we're going to place down here, which now tells me whenever I place that gardener there, that I get to take any like white area action, which is cool. So in this case, I think what I would like to do is gain probably 2 more of them pearls. And we will confirm all that. Now we're going into the next round. Okay, so the computer's going to go first, and then I'll try to. And if you notice, he'll hog up spaces in a 2-player game. Only 1 die can go in each space, which does really suck. So what I want to do is place for a warrior action now, and that was like the only warrior action that's on the main board here. So I think I'm going to just shoot down here. We're going to take this 6, put it right here. That's going to give me the option of either doing a courtier action or a warrior action. We're going to do a warrior action. Now I take one of my warriors and I can place it in any one of these locations that I can afford. You know what we're going to do before we do that? We're going to do a seal action. We're going to pay 2 of our favorite tokens for 1 iron. And the reason that we're going to do that is because now what I get to do is I get to place in this top rack here, which gives me 3 food, and it lets me then take any action that a white location would allow you to take. So in this case, I'm going to take this action here to place a courtier, pay a favorite token. Now I get to put one of my courtiers in. First off, I have to spend 2 money to place a courtier up at the gate. A lot of steps to this, I know. And then I can spend either 2 to move him up to the first floor, or if I wanted to, I could spend 5 to move him up 2 floors. We're going to choose the 5. And we're going to go right up to here. And I'm going to gain that new lantern card, and it replaces my old one. My old one flips up down here, so whenever a lantern action is taken, I get both those now. And now I get to take that action 2 right here, which allows me to move up 2 on the passage of time, draw a new diplomat card to replace that one. That ends my turn. This is 2, and now I think because I have a lot, I have to assign one of his guys. Let's just put him, we'll put him down here. All right, so I'm all out of iron. I don't have enough pearls. I need to be able to try to do some other actions. I think what we're going to do is we're going to take, and I don't have enough. Let's take this one here. Let's place it here, and we're going to gain 2 rice. Oh, I don't think this is a good idea. Restart that one. Sorry. In fact, what we're going to do is we've got 3 rice already, so we could place a courtier right there. Let's do that with this one. We're going to place it here. We're going to take a gardener action, and then we are going to place our gardener right here to get 3 money. Now, each one of these spaces where you place your gardeners, you are going to get victory points for each one of those at the end of the game. Obviously, the more rice you had to spend to try to place your gardener, the more you're going to get back. So, okay. Now, I would like to try to keep all these viable and open for me if I possibly can. What I think I'm going to do is just make this real sweet and simple. I'm just going to place down here into the wishing well. And that will give me a money. And then I'm going to gain all these things here. Resolve all. Gain. And I want to gain another of these pearls. There we go. All right, confirm. All right, now because there's a die left on each one of these bridges, I get to take all these actions. So after he does all his stuff. Okay, so first thing I want to do is gain my 3 money. And then I want to gain, I'm going to gain my 2 resources. And I want to gain, let's gain 2 more of these. Confirm. Okay. Now we are going to, do we want to do that? Pay 3? Yes, let's pay 3 to place our another gardener. And let's put, I don't have any, oh, actually undo. I got an idea. Let's do something different. Undo. Undo. Sorry. Let's grab our 2 resources, and we're going to grab an iron. Yeah, let's do that instead. And then we'll also grab one of those. Confirm. I'll show you why. Sorry. All right, and now we're going to do our gardener action. We're going to place our gardener right down here. That's going to now let me spend 3 money to perform a warrior action. I'm going to put my warrior here, and that'll give me 5 money. Okay. All right. Now I get to do any white die action on the board. I think we're going to gain 2 more of these. Confirm. Oh, shit. Undo last. Sorry. Gain. There we go. All right. Confirm. And now we're going into the next round. Okay. Hopefully I did everything right. I don't know. Okay. Now let's see. So the warriors are only going to score victory points based upon how many of my courtesans are in the castle. So I need to start getting a lot of courtesans into the castle right now. So right now I've got 1 here and 1 here. So that's going to be times 3. So I'm only going to get like 3 points for that. So let's try to move them up in there if we can. So we need courtesan actions, and we get courtesan actions for this area up here. So let's take this 4. We'll put it right here. That'll give us a couple of rice. Resolve, and we get a free courtesan action as well. So let's do that. And we spend 2 money to place 1 here at the gate. And then we're going to spend 5, and we'll move 1 all the way up. So let's put him up to here. Okay. And now we're going to gain our favor token, and we're going to get our lantern action. Resolve all. New diplomat card, confirm, will be flipped over now. Okay, very good. All right. Very good, very good. All right, let's try to see if we can't get another one up. But the problem is that now we're going to have to do it differently, unfortunately. So let's do this. Let's grab this 6. We're going to place it on our personal board again. We're going to get all these actions here. So resolve. We're going to gain all this stuff right here. That's a lot. Okay. And gain resolve again. And now I get to move past this barrier right here, this passage of time, but I have to pay a favor token again. I don't know why, but I do to do it. So we're going to gain a favor token back though. Now we're going to take our lantern actions again. Resolve. That was a lot of stuff we just got right there. Confirm. I only got 1 more die to play. Best I can do is try to place 1 more courtesan, which I don't think I'm going to be able to do because I don't really have any pearls, unfortunately. I could get 1 pearl, but I'm not going to be able to get a second one. Let's see here. Hang on. Before we jump to conclusions. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to place another one up there, unfortunately. However, let's do this. Warrior action. Is there a warrior action I can take without spending one of my favor tokens? I don't think so. Can't do that neither. Gardener actions out the window as well. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of probably be stuck, to be honest with you. I'm just gonna place this 5 down here, and we're not even gonna stress out about it because this was just a matter of showing you the game, and we're gonna resolve all of these as well. Resolve. We are going to gain a favor. We are going to gain all these again because they're my lantern actions down here. And he absolutely clobbered me. It is bad, really bad. Regardless, gardeners will score points based upon where they're located, like he scores 7 points. Warriors will be like ×2 per courtesan that you have in the castle. I've only got 2 up there. Courtesans will score points based upon where they're located in the castle, like both these guys will score 6. And that's really how all the scoring works. Then you get based upon the passage of time, however far you went. So like in this case, I'll gain 3 points for that as well. I don't know how I did that. I'll be honest with you. I'm just as shocked as you are. That's only the 3rd time I've won, and I've played this like 30 plus times. That's how you play the game, though. You just talk through it. You just kind of like bullshit your way through. You pull out a victory. That's how the game works. That's why it's called White Castle. You just white lies all the way through, win at the end. That's what it's about. I'm shocked. I'll be honest. But that is basically what you do. So basically, 12 points. So let's break it down. I only scored 6 points throughout the game. Okay. My resources, however many you got left, you're going to score points. So this was my favorite coin, my favorite tokens, and my money. I scored 1. My rice, I scored 2. My iron, and then my the shells or the pearls. I went up 3 on the or far enough to be able to score 3 points at the end of the game on the passage of time. I had 2 people up in the castle, so that scored me 12 points because they were at the level 6. My warriors multiplied by the number that they were on, so they were times 3 times the number of courtesans I had in the castle, which was 2, 6 points. And then I had a total of 19 points combined for all the spaces for where my gardeners sat, 51 points. Not a great score, in my opinion, because, I mean, I've gotten like 70 plus in most of my games and I still lose. So I don't know how I pulled it out, but I did, and that's all that matters. I hope that gave you a general idea how this game plays. I'm not going to lie. Very much on the fence on this one. I like it, but then I hate it because I feel like I'm always a buck short, dollar, late and all that good stuff. It's like I can never really seem to do all the things I want to do because there's always something else I need to be able to try to accomplish that. And it gets really frustrating, but I do like the puzzling nature of it, that if you just take your time and you stare at it, you'll figure out a strategy. That's the issue with the game, though, is that I would never want to play this physically because I feel like the AP and the downtime between turns would be so high that I would get absolutely miserable waiting for my next turn. Not to mention, it seems like for me personally, I have a hard time tracking even when I do accomplish certain items or tasks, like what all am I actually getting for that, and trying to track all that. For instance, like, okay, so I placed that gardener, so now I get to do that gardener action that I just placed, but I was able to do that gardener action because it was at the end of the round, and I triggered that gardener. But don't forget, you still have these other gardener actions you can do. But when I did that one gardener action, now it's a white die that I can now trigger. So find a white die and trigger that one. Oh, well, that one let me get all this stuff. Okay, but don't forget, go back and still do all this other stuff. And that's a lot to track. This does it beautifully on the app, digitally, phenomenally, because it does it all for you. But I think physically, no way in the world would I ever want to sit down and actually play a physical copy of this game, unless I'm just playing with one other person so that we could help each other, track all the stuff so one of us doesn't forget. But other than that, hey, it's a good game. Just probably not really a game for me. I understand why it's highly rated on Board Game Geek, but at the same time, it's just, unless I played it digitally, I'm not going to play this one, unfortunately. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed this video. Look for other ones in the future. Click like, subscribe, and don't forget, hey, if there is a game you want to see played, leave a comment below. I'm going to put it on the agenda, and I will get to it. And then you can be cool as BG Barbarian a few weeks ago, who got to see his game played, and you'll get to see your game played too. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.